YouTube, people. It's for YouTube. I'm recording it. I'm going to start over. Do you mind? I hope you don't. All right. The Power of Awareness, Chapter 3, Neville Goddard. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mark. My favorite people. All right. So we are on Chapter 3, Power of Assumption, from The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him happens as a result of his state of consciousness. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. That is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Let's do this again. Rain falls as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. So, in like manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas, for you think from your ideas. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. The first step in the renewing of your mind is desire. You must want to be different and intend to be before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By desiring to be other than what you are, you can create an ideal of the person you want to be and assume that you are already that person. If this assumption is persisted in until it becomes your dominant feeling, the attainment of your idea is inevitable. The ideal you hope to achieve is always ready for an incarnation. But unless you yourself offer it human parentage, it is incapable of birth. Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich, about when we have ideas, when we have a desire, when we have a dream, we have to breathe life into it, or it's going to be stillborn. You know, ideas come to us. We're just conduits. We're just vessels. And that's why if we don't act upon or breathe life into a dream, someone else will. That's why if you've ever like slept on the job of an idea and you're like, oh my gosh, someone else did it. You're like, I was going to do that. Yeah. Dreams don't wait. Therefore, your attitude should be one in which, having desired to express a higher state, you alone accept the task of incarnating this new and greater value of yourself. So the ideal you hope to achieve is always ready for an incarnation, but unless you yourself offer it human parentage, it is incapable of birth. Therefore, your attitude should be one in which, having desired to express a higher state, you alone accept the task of incarnating this new and greater value of yourself. In giving birth to your ideal, you must bear in mind that the methods of mental and spiritual knowledge are entirely different. This is a point that is truly understood by probably not more than one person in a million. You know a thing mentally by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analyzing it and defining it, by thinking of it. Whereas you can know a thing spiritually only by becoming it, only by thinking from it. That's kind of like saying, you know, it's that logical, like book smarts knowledge, and then there's experiential, illogical knowledge. You know a thing mentally by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analyzing it and defining it, by thinking of it. Whereas you can know a thing spiritually, really feel it and know it, only by becoming it, probably only by experiencing it, only by thinking from it. You must be the thing itself and not merely talk about it or look at it. You must be like the moth in search of his idol, the flame. who spurred with true desire, plunging at once into the sacred fire, holding his wings within till he became one color and one substance with the flame. He only knew the flame who in it burned, and only he could tell who ne'er to tell returned. That was from a poem. Just as the moth, in his desire to know the flame, was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, be willing to die to your present self. There's that saying, you got to die before you live. And the philosophers, the ancient Greeks, I'm not sure which one, I mean, most of them said it in different ways. You have to die every single day. Die to your old self every single day. Renew your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We're brand new every day, but how much luggage are we taking with us? And it gets heavy. And that's why we can't really, baggage. Hello. So just as the moth, in his desire to know the flame, was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, be willing to die to your present self. That is hard. Not everybody does that. People talk about it. People talk about it all the time. I surrendered. I fully just surrendered and, really gave in. No, you didn't. It hurts. Maybe you did. I'm lying. But I'm just saying. That's why only 3% of people really, really, really do it. It is not cute. It is not fun. And I think the majority of the people who really do die to their old self, they don't really talk about it. Because first of all, no one understands unless they've been through it. And no one will believe them. And you can't teach someone how to do it. Woo. Yeah. You must be conscious of being healthy if you are to know what health is. You must be conscious of being secure if you are to know what security is. Therefore, to incarnate a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you already are what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption, which is not yet incarnate in the body of your life, in confidence that this new value or state of consciousness will become incarnate through your absolute fidelity to the assumption that you are that which you desire to be. This is what wholeness means, what integrity means. They mean submission of the whole self to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in certainty that that new state of consciousness is the renewing of the mind which transforms. There is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the ideal beyond the self. Let me just read that again. So you must be conscious of being healthy if you are to know what health is. You must be conscious of being secure if you are to know what security is. Therefore, to incarnate a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you are already what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption, which is not yet incarnate in the body. So it hasn't happened yet, but you have to believe, act as if, feel as if. You have to incarnate in the body of your life, okay? In confidence that this new value or state of consciousness will become incarnate through your absolute fidelity to the assumption that you are that which you desire to be. This is what wholeness means, what integrity means. They mean submission to the whole self, to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in certainty that that new state of consciousness is the renewing of mind which transforms. There is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the ideal beyond the self. Therefore, it is the height of folly to expect the incarnation of a new and greater concept of self to come about by natural evolutionary process. That which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect obviously cannot be affected without such a state of consciousness. And in your ability to assume the feeling of a greater life, to assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what you... Okay, let me read that again. Okay. That which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect obviously cannot be affected without such a state of consciousness. And in your ability to assume the feeling of a greater life, to assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess. Imagination, the higher faculties, people, right? Our little stick guy. Everyone, this is the stick figure that I use all the time. My little drawing for you in the peanut gallery over here. These are our five senses: see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Our body, our senses. Okay? They just keep us alive, make sure we don't burn ourselves. We can see what's in front of us, we can hear. But our higher faculties, those 6 higher faculties, memory, intuition, reason, the other ones, there's 6 of them. Human beings have those higher faculties that nobody else has, or no other creature. The only thing that makes us different than an animal, than a dog, than any farm animal, every dog, every cat, every horse can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. But they don't have memory, they don't have imagination, they don't have reason, intuition, the will. That's what makes us different. That's why we're the apex creature. So, yep, it's imagination. That is the higher faculty. So that which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect obviously cannot be affected without such a state of consciousness. And in your ability to assume the feeling of a greater life, to assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess: imagination, the instrument by which you create your world. I've been on a Sadhguru kick. I don't know if you know Sadhguru. Look him up on YouTube. I am so obsessed with all of his books. His new book, Karma, is out. And then he has Inner Engineering. Constantine, my friend Constantine told me about that book. But he was talking about the higher faculties, 2 in particular that we suffer from: imagination and memory. Those 2 things us human beings have that we just, it's a tool. It's like a knife. We can carve with it, we can cut our food with it, we can build things with it, but we're holding it by the wrong end. So say this is the tool of imagination. A lot of people use their imagination. Mom, if you're still here, use your and my sister too. They use their imagination at times. We all do. I'm not picking on y'all. But we can use our imagination to whip up the most outrageous stories that are usually negative and scary. We use our imagination, this beautiful faculty of creative imagination, to worry and to freak out and to picture everybody dying. So we have to flip the imagination tool around and hold it by the handle. Use it to imagine what we want, beautiful things. And yes, I'm guilty of this too. I am guilty of this. I'm just having fun with them. But we all do this, right? We use imagination in the most grotesque, horrible ways. We torture ourselves. And I'm really, through this work and the work that I do, these readings, I just pump myself up with positive stuff because that's the default. Those are the messaging, fear that it's control, it's power. We have to use our imagination. If it's a tool, right? Whatever we're imagining, we can imagine anything we want. So why don't we imagine the things that are good, that are pure, that are good report? That's what all the good books say. Use our imagination for the good, to imagine the positive and the good things, because they're both true, right? 50-50, the good and the bad. And we were talking in one of our readings about, there's those sayings like, get your mind out of the gutter or get your head out of the clouds. It's a lose-lose. People think that you're, woo-woo Pollyanna if you have your head in the clouds all the time thinking about positive things. But then get your mind out of the gutter. What are you thinking? It's like, okay, where do I go? Well, if we have a choice, I'm going to be up in the clouds, okay? Anyways, that's a tool of imagination. We have to use it rightly. And also memory, the tool. We're holding it by the blade again, getting all cut up, remembering all the mistakes we made, remembering all the resentments, all of the grievances, all of the negative things, beating ourselves up, negative self-talk. That's how we're using our memory. How lovely. We're just so lovely to ourselves, aren't we? Okay, moving on. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, and poverty is effected. Ooh, in my Course in Miracles book, it was saying, there was a lesson of the day that said, what is my salvation? What are we trying to be saved from? What is the goal of life? Inner peace. It's not success. It's not a car. It's not a home. It's not money. Inner peace. Because you can have the car, the success, the home, the money, but if you pissed, you're just going to be extra pissed. Money and success just amplifies whatever state is going on. Example, I was at a beautiful beach in Costa Rica, totally serene. I felt like I was in a dream. It was so beautiful. I was in such a good state. It was magic. And I remember thinking, this is magical. Cut to 5 years later, I'm at a beach in Puerto Vallarta. And my life was okay, but I was stressed about work. I was stressed about school. And I was on this beautiful beach. And I wasn't miserable, but I just was stressed and worried. And I was like, wow. And I was aware of it. And I was like, this whole scene is just being lost on me right now because I am not at peace. Wherever you go, you take your mind with you. So inner peace is the goal. That was a very long tangent. But it was talking about what's our salvation? Imagination. 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 And remember, Neville Goddard talks about the Lord, God, is our subconscious mind. It's this part, the bottom part, the subconscious mind. See, I wrote kingdom of heaven. This is the illogical part, the part we can't see, the spirit part. The top part, our conscious mind, is the logical, the seen part, those five senses part, And this world is ran by logic and by intellect. We've lost, what's that Einstein quote? The mind, imagination we're a slave to it. But this is what it's talking about. The gift, our mind is a gift and the intellect is a servant, but we've turned it the other way around. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, and poverty is effected. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, then you reject the means, the only means whereby your redemption, your salvation. So it says imagination is the only redemptive power. Oh, I missed it. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, and poverty is effected. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, then you reject the means, the only means whereby your redemption, that is, the attainment of your ideal, can be effected. Hi, Curtis. Wherever you go, there you are. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. I've gotten taught by the Sadhguru, Neville Goddard, Course in Miracles, all the good books. God is imagination. I am. God is imagination. And we have it. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. However, your nature is such that it is optional to you whether you remain in your present concept of yourself, a hungry being longing for freedom, health, and security, or choose to become the instrument of your own redemption, imagining yourself as that which you want to be, and thereby satisfying your hunger and redeeming yourself. And it ends with a little poem. Oh, be strong then and brave, pure, patient, and true. The work that is yours, let no other hand do. For the strength for all need is faithfully given from the fountain within you, the kingdom of heaven. I loved that. Thank y'all for watching. This was fun. Yeah, so I'll be doing this every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 or 8 p.m. Central Eastern time for all of my beautiful European people. So yes, I will be here inside Talk Show. It's a new look. How much do you like purple? It's my favorite color. And I am just really combining all of my Instagram and my Facebook and my YouTube now. So I'm everywhere. Inside Talk Show. I love it. Thank you all for your support and love. I love you all. Happy Friday. I hope you enjoy. All of the replays are in this group, in my Facebook group. If you're not on Inside Talk Show, click the link. All the links to join the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, is in there. So have a wonderful Friday night. I love you. Mwah. I don't know how to end this. Yes, I do.